Hi, my name is Rebecca Ruiz. I am going to be explaining the Milgram experiment. So in the video, the documentary that was given, there was 40 men, ages 20 to 50 years old, and they were between non-educated and doctorate. So it was not educated and very educated. The experimenter told the men that they were taking part in a scientific study of memory and learning, basically how theories on how people can learn with punishment, and how people learn from making a mistake, like when parents spank a child when they do wrong, they spank them not to do it again, so that makes them learn, and to figure out how much punishing a person can handle. In the room, in the experiment room, there were two men, and one of them, the experimenter gives them a paper, and they get to either pick between a teacher and a learner. So one man picks a teacher, one man picks a learner, or excuse me, a student, I should say. The punishment is through shock, is through a shock generator. It's supposed to be painful, and the gentlemen that were students, the gentlemen that were teachers were basically given a couple words, and to tell the students these words, and if they got them wrong, then they shock them. So fast forwarding, the students actually were not being shocked. This was a test. They were paid actors, or actors, I guess. And it was all, they were doing a study on the teachers. So a lot of men were laughing, and it's not a funny laugh. They were more of a nervous laugh. So they would kind of shock these students when they would get them wrong, thinking that they were inflicting pain on them. And the experimenter would basically tell them, keep on going, and 50% of the men, 50% of the men, that they did the highest shock. The other 50 didn't. They kind of just stopped through either before the mid, or before the highest point. And if they didn't answer, if the student didn't answer, they would still shock, the teachers would shock the students. Why did you have us watch it? To see how other people act towards pain, and to see how an instructor has power. The instructor for the experiment said that the experiment needed to go on, and how one with authority has so much power, that they did research on, basically telling them that they had to keep on going. You cannot stop. So imagine how one with power, like a government, has on a person or a group of people. How it relates to chapter 1, the ethics research, basically, openness, honesty, truth, and protecting their subject to harm. And how did the scientists in charge hold up to modern ethical research? They weren't honest about the research that they were doing. So they kind of tricked them, obviously, to get a reaction from the teacher. How did the subject behave the way that they did? A lot of them were nervous and scared. They were nervous that they were hurting other people. Obviously, some of them stopped. How would you respond in a similar situation? Well, it depends on what situation I'm put in. If I say you have to do it for work because you need to give a person medicine and they don't want to take medicine, it's kind of something similar. I don't think that would really be inflicting pain. Well, kind of, because if you have to give a child a shot, then in a way that is inflicting pain on them and you don't want to see yourself in that position. But if it's kind of voluntary, then obviously then I wouldn't act the same way as some of the men, which were stop this, stop that. In what ways did the scientists charge? The ways that the scientists, they failed was, for the ethics, was that they weren't honest about they were not honest about their research. It put a lot of stress, and they did lack of information. Thank you.